Hi guys, feeling a lot better than the last time I clicked record, which was this past weekend, um, after a sort of almost kind of relationship came to an end. I've written a little bit about that today, about sort of what happened, and I can't even see my eyes because it's reflecting in my little nerd glasses. Um, But yeah, so obviously I've been having a bit of a rough time lately. Something has come to an end with somebody that I was seeing. Very disappointing, very sad, blah, blah, blah. But it was a real wake up call for me because I always say, and especially recently since I started recovery, that everybody comes into your life for a reason. Everybody is here to teach you something, even, the biggest assholes or somebody who's only in your life briefly. If they make that big enough impact, they were there because you had to learn something. And what I've learned, which is so absolutely incredibly crucial to my recovery, is knowing what is your shit and what is somebody else's shit, and the consequences that you have to bear when you take somebody else's shit as your own. Basically, this thing has ended, and my brain and eating disorder wanted to really quickly turn it into a reason to restrict, to binge, to purge, to over-exercise, to make myself thin, because if I was thin, then he would regret ending it, and I would feel more in control, in power, attractive. Eating disorder tried to tell me the reason it was over was because I was fat, blah, blah. We all know that story. So I started on some pretty bad thinking patterns. And then when I really looked at the situation, when I took myself out of everything has to be my fault, and I analysed it as logically as I could, it has nothing to do with me. My behaviour didn't change. I didn't do anything wrong. I was myself. I was open. I was honest. I was vulnerable, which is so hard for me. But I did it because that's part of my recovery, is not letting my insecurity and my anxiety win. Now, that goes against everything I have ever done. I run away from things so quickly because I believe it's going to end anyway, so I might as well end it. And the reason I met this guy is that this did end. My worst fear was realised. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm just downloading My Mad Fat Diary. If you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. If this show had been around when I was a teenager, I think my life would have been very different. Anyway, segue. I met this person because I had to work out that not everything is always about my fuck-ups. Yes, you have to be accountable for your behaviour. Yes, you have to analyse how you interact with people if things keep going wrong. Sometimes it is you. Sometimes it is, the fact that you're scared or you don't want to be vulnerable, and so you shut yourself off, and people pick up on that and then they don't bother. Story of my life for the past 4.5 years. But sometimes it has nothing to do with you. And I finally got to look at this logically when I added everything up. 34-year-old guy, like a couple of months ago, got out of a very serious relationship where it seems like marriage was on the cards, who took 6 weeks to even kiss me. He's 34 and very attractive, so there was no reason for him to not think that it was possible, and very just scared. So obviously that's got more to do with him than it does to do with me. So when I let those sort of like eating disorder thoughts settle down, and I looked at these two things, and I thought, why am I going to cut my calorie intake, put my health in jeopardy, put my happiness in jeopardy, work my guts out, exhaust myself, potentially ruin 7 months of the hardest work I've ever done because somebody else has issues? I know what my shit is. I know what my issues are. I know when I'm the one who's fucked it up because I've done it enough times I can recognize it. This time had nothing to do with me. It could be that someone is a total asshole to you at school. One of your best friends just has a day where they treat you like shit, or a month or a year. If your behavior hasn't changed, if you have done nothing but be a good friend or a good daughter or a good son or a good girlfriend or a good boyfriend, and somebody else changes and they put their shit on you, why would you ever turn that around on yourself? Why would you ever take somebody else's pain and issues? You've got enough pain and issues to sort through that you're battling. Why would you heap something that doesn't belong to you onto the pile of reasons why you don't like yourself, or you speak badly to yourself? Why add that's somebody else's crap? Let them work through it. Let them punish themselves if they need to. It's sometimes you can't just assume that everything is about you. And I don't mean that in like you're self-indulgent, you're selfish, because I am the last person to point that finger at anyone suffering from mental illness. But by the law of averages, it cannot always be you. So please don't hurt yourself for somebody else, for some asshole. Just be kind to yourselves and know the difference. Try to take yourself out of that headspace. All right, guys. Much love.